Welcome to another conversation with the Brothers Are Too Complex. We appreciate y'all for clicking on this video, but before we get into the content, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these bangers that we drop every single week. We appreciate the support. God bless.
We talked about Mr. Beast for quite a couple of segments on the podcast before, typically in a positive light. This one, we're going to see where it goes. He's in a little bit of controversy right now when it comes to his association with one of his longtime friends who transitioned from being a man and is now a woman. And then it's a whole... Sticks knows more about this than I do, but it's a whole lot of issues or challenges,
controversy going down.
Controversy that has come with this individual being associated with Mr. Beast. So Sticks, does this? You can go more detail with it after I ask the question, because I know I left a lot to be desired with that. But will this situation negatively impact Mr. Beast moving forward?
Mr. Beast is so revered in the social media content creator, YouTube philanthropy space in this world now, as where it is as far as social media, that I don't think there's much you can do to cancel Mr. Beast, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think it's much you can do to cancel him. He's done too much good in the world. He's done his philanthropy work. He makes great content. He gives people opportunity to get paid on a lot of his videos that he makes. Case in point, teaming up with Prime Video to do a game show where people can win 1,000 people can win up to $1 million. So like, I saw a stat earlier. This is kind of off topic, but this man, Forbes last year said that he makes $54 million a year off of YouTube. Imagine, D-Lo, imagine. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. But listen, I don't think it's much you can do to cancel. I don't think this is going to negatively impact Mr. Beast too much, but he does have to, in which he's doing, he does have to be a little bit more outspoken about this now that somebody on his team is being allegedly has some situations with some children. Right now, the person that's in question is one of his good friends, been really, really good friends with him for a very, very long time. And he's on his production team and actually started being in the videos here recently over the last few years, named Kris Tyson. And before I start this part of my spiel, I want to say I'm going to try my hardest to say the correct pronouns, but don't kill me if I don't. So just put that out there. I'm sorry. I apologize. But Kris Tyson recently, over the past year, just transitioned to Ava Kris with the K Tyson. And that came with a lot of controversy within itself, because within this transition, she ended up, when it was still Kris with a C, he had a whole family, kids, things of that nature. And now that she's Ava, no more family anymore. Like, left his family to become a woman. That right there in itself is controversial, because there's nothing in this world. If I had a family, if I was in D-Lo's situation, there's nothing in this world that's going to make me leave my family. No matter how I feel, no matter what I think I am, I'm not doing that at all. I couldn't see myself not being a part of Sam's life. I couldn't see myself not being a man for my family. And that's probably going to get me some slack, but I don't really care. But left his family to go ahead and fully transition to a woman. That in itself was controversy. But where the real controversy comes in is that and I'm gonna say this after I get this point. Back in 17, 18, he was supposedly sending some very edgy, sexually oriented messages over Discord, Twitter, to someone who was still in middle school, and he was 20 years old at the time. So he had some PDF file allegations against him from 6 or 7 years ago. And what I don't understand is, why do the people wait to put this stuff out? I don't understand that. Like, and why the length of time between stuff that's supposed to be controversial or supposed to be having somebody convicted for something, for lack of a better word, why does it take so long for people to say things? Because it's not until this person comes out and says that they're transitioning from man to woman. Now all of a sudden you want to bring out some dirt about this person. That to me doesn't make any sense. Especially if it was 7 years ago. Now, messing with kids, probably the worst thing you can do in today's society. Ever, really, to be perfectly honest with you. There's nothing you can do that's worse than being a PDF file, to me personally. Now, why does this come out 6 or 7 years later is what I don't understand. And my question is, the only thing that I would fault Mr. Beast for is, did you know about these things ahead of time and never said anything? Which, if it's your best friend, see, that puts me in a situation where if it was D-Lo, would I say something? I would
don't put me
tell
in
him.
that situation.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that you a PDF, but what I'm saying is, if I'm in Mr. B's situation and I'm seeing these things happen, and this is too complex, you know what I'm saying, from 7 years ago, and I'm seeing these things happening with somebody that I'm really, really good friends with, would I, behind closed doors, say something, which I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast did, or like, and just let it go? But it's insane because it's so much that's going on behind the scenes with this Kris Tyson individual that could come back and look funny for Mr. Beast. But to answer the question very, very directly, I don't think there's much you can do to cancel Mr. Beast, for real. If I'm being completely honest. But it is a lot going on, and it's weird. Talk your shit.
I tend to disagree. And the reason I tend to disagree is because when somebody's at the highest of the high, we try to find ways to tear them down.
Okay.
No matter
as a society, I agree.
How untouchable we think they are. And or they try to make themselves be. And Mr. Beast, like I said, we had multiple sessions or segments where we talked about the positive things that he has done, building water wells in Africa. People talked about that. There was controversy about that and the legitimacy of why he was doing it. And this is something way different than building water wells in Africa. And so
agreed.
If they were talking about that, trying to, question the can't talk.
The legitimacy.
Not a great orator. If they were questioning the legitimacy of the water wells in Africa, and now he's being associated with alleged PDF file person that left his family, so on and so forth, longtime friend. He hasn't said anything about it up until now. He's come out and said a couple things, but nothing crazy. I mean, he's made his money, so they can't take that away from him. But moving forward, they can make it hard for him to see the same type of success that he has had up until this point. They can make some of those collaborations with these big brands, like you said, Amazon Prime, so on and so forth. They can make those go away. However, on the flip side of why, as I'm talking through this, why it probably won't happen is because he would be associated with one of the groups that tends to cancel people the most. And so because he's associated with them, then, it would be hard pressed for it to happen. So if it is true that he knew about it, he did nothing about it, and or it's true that the friend is engaged in those activities or was engaged in those activities and he knew about it, he very well could get canceled, or demoted as in his role and his status in society. But as far as him being associated with the LGBTQIA community, then it'll be hard pressed for that to happen because they usually are the ones that cancel the most, but we shall see.
Yeah, man. And just to shed a little bit more light on the situation is, so Mr. B said he became aware of the allegations against Ava which first started circulating on the internet about a month or so ago. He said he just found out over the past couple of days, and
he just found out what
the alleged grooming allegations that Chris had back in when he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And he said that he's hiring a independent investigator to kind of go through the facts and ensure that he has everything that he needs to conduct the investigation. He said he's seen online, and this is a direct quote, he's seen online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, his channel, and any association with Mr. Beast. So he let go of Ava. He said he doesn't condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. And he said he would take further actions based on the findings from the independent investigator for what's going on. So everybody has denied it. Of course, Ava, she has denied it. The gentleman that he was supposed to be grooming has also denied it. And just saying that he just made some edgy comments and this, that, and the third. Man, it was some stuff where he was saying that if you donate to my Discord, then I'll send you some explicit photos. And this is with a 12, 13-year-old kid. So that's not good, bro. It's not good in the least bit. So it's one of those things where Mr. Beast, not even a good joke. There's nothing edgy about talking to children in a sexual manner. Nothing edgy about it. It's terrible. No. That's not even a good sense of humor. Like, stop playing, bro. Stop playing. So but Mr. Beast is doing very, very well with trying to get out in front of what's going on. Mm-hmm. But my only thing is, bro, what did you do 7 years ago when this was going on? Like, what did you do then? But I mean, who knows, bro? Because 7 years, like, why just because now this man is not Chris anymore and now she's Ava, that now all of a sudden you want to bring out some dirt about this dude supposedly grooming a young boy 7 years ago? Like, why are we doing this now? That's what I don't understand. The time between is what I don't get. Like, why do you bring this out now? And why? And now, of course, Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber on the platform. So now, of course, it's going to negatively impact him because he's in his camp. So, but like you said, man, when people are at the highest of highs, you'll try to find a way to bring them down to whatever you perceive your level to be. So I just don't get it. But hopefully Mr. Beast is able to get out in front of it, and the private investigator finds what he needs, and he's already took the steps to let Ava go, so she's no longer associated with Mr. Beast, and we'll figure it out from here. But I don't personally think he can be canceled. Not that he can't be canceled, but it's not a lot you can do to cancel Mr. Beast at this point, to me personally. But I know D'Lo has a different thought about it, but I don't think this is going to cancel Mr. Beast at all.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Deshaun Foster right now. Like,
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. No, like, if it is found that he is associated in the slightest degree with that, he can be canceled. But
I agree.
I mean, in the slightest bit, like if he even knew anything, if that comes to light, he could be canceled. It might not last long, but he'll feel the brunt of that for a little bit. But if he's not associated with it, and the way that he's gotten out in front of it, so to speak, right now, getting out in front of it actually would be him addressing it before this even came to light, or removing Ava before this even came to light in the first place. That would be getting out in front of it. True. But the way he's handling it right now would be, it will help him to skate past this with no issues, if it's found that he knew nothing about it and, this is all new. But I'm not going to say I find it hard to believe that he knew nothing about it, being the fact that he watched Chris transition into Ava. But, a lot of people, you don't really know everybody. Like, I don't know everything about you. And
True.
We've been friends for 25
over 2 decades.
Years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Almost 3 decades. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. It's just one of those things where if something would have came out, say 5 years ago, that Chris has been let go from Mr. Beast Incorporated, or whatever he calls himself, then that would have buried the question, oh, why did he do that? Oh, because he was supposedly grooming some young boy. Okay, then cool, Mr. Beast, dap you up. You a good man for that. But now that it's like, 7 years later, like, see, that's the thing. Like, he had to have known something. He had to have. But how can you prove if Mr. Beast tried to reprimand or redirect or try to, push him away from that direction when he was Chris? Now, you know what? Fuck it. Whenever Chris was Chris, who's to say that Mr. Beast didn't try to redirect him and say, bro, you need to stop doing that because, you can ruin yourself. You could possibly ruin me. Like, you need to stop doing what you're doing. Who's to say, how can you prove that he didn't do that? So that's why I'm saying, like, this right here, if it was Mr. Beast doing the grooming and being the PDF out, okay, then you canceled, my boy. But his best friend who already had some differences about him and, stuff like that, like, in this word of inclusivity, especially with the, the transgender community, like, there's nothing else you can say about that, but I'm pretty sure that he said something about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is why the topics we talk about are complex, and we try to be quick to give people a little bit of context, hopefully start conversation. But as you talk about it, sometimes it starts this conversation and it makes you want to talk a little bit more about it. But the reason I say that this is complex is because it seems like it's a different situation from what I'm about to say, but in reality, it's really not. It's much like the Penn State, Joe Paterno, Jerry Sandusky situation, in my opinion. It can be, because under Joe Paterno's watch, Jerry Sandusky, and again, this is alleged with Ava and when he was Chris and so on and so forth. So I want to preface that. But under Joe Paterno's watch with Jerry Sandusky was doing some terrible things on Penn State's campus with younger individuals, and the whole organization was torn down. Joe Paterno, who knew a little bit about it but really didn't say anything, Jerry Sandusky, so on and so forth. So put whoever you need to put in this difference in the roles, and it's very much like that. Also, tying it to sports, because sports and media and entertainment podcast, tying it to sports. Also, Northwestern. We recently talked about Northwestern, where they were doing some stuff on the team, some hazing and bullying on the team, and those individuals, the coach was fired, the organization was flipped upside down. And so, I mean, it's when you look at it from that point, it's like, should Mr. Beast get away with this? Probably not. But because it's seen in a different light, whereas he's not really seen as a figure of a powerful figure or a figure that leads the next generation to be better people. He's just entertainment. He'll probably get away with it, even if he knew a little bit about it. Whereas football coaches or those type of individuals don't get away with it, even if they know nothing about it.
And I agree with you, man. It's just the gravity of the situation, bro. Like, it's the kids, dog. Like, anything that has to do with that, it's just the gravity of the situation. Like, anything grooming, PDF files, allegations, all of these things are just literally the worst thing that you could get. That can come about for any man or woman, but any man in the world,
There's
especially when
going on nowadays too.
You hear me? You heard me. I'm telling you, teachers. Yeah, you already know. So it's just, no, you're good. It's just the gravity of the situation. Like, anything that has to do with grooming with little kids and men and adults grooming little kids, that's just the gravity of the situation. And that was a good analogy, though, because the whole Sandusky situation and Joe Paterno knowing about a lot of these things, that's the reason why he was canceled and fired. So it's like, you can't get around it. So, I mean, good luck to Mr. Beast, because this is something that could potentially cancel him 100%. Do I believe it's cancelable? on his back. Do I believe it's a reason for him to be canceled? Me personally, not really. But Ava's already been canceled. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for her. Like there's nothing that she can do to get back on top of anything. It's now that she's transitioned and this whole grooming allegations. Like, pause.
Continue.
Oh, I will. Now that she's transitioned and has been grooming, doing all these allegations that she has on her, it's raps for her. But Mr. Beast, good luck on this investigation, boy, because losing $54 million a year could be crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, if he's done right by it, he'll be okay. It's nothing. He'll lose it moving forward, but he's still set for life.
He's still set for life. I agree.